Wow, this is amazing.
It's much easier to imagine ourselves being a millionaire than to actually be one. Today, let's get one thing clear. I'm going to be talking about something that can be realistic. That is becoming a millionaire by starting with $261. However, I'm not going to be talking about something that's easy. The concept of something being realistic and something being easy are not one and the same thing. For example, it's realistic for me to reach an intermediate level of guitar playing. But I'll be the first person to admit that it's definitely not easy. I'm having a really hard time practicing on a regular basis. But I know that if I do put in that time and dedication, that I could be playing at a higher level. So I guess the question I have to ask myself, and the question you might also ask yourself is, are you up to the challenge? When we think of the idea of being a millionaire, I think a lot of the time we only see that possibility as being able to exist in our dreams. We completely differentiate ourselves from that possibility and think, being a millionaire? Geez, that would sure be nice, but that won't happen for me. I'll never become a millionaire. Well, I'm here to tell you one thing. You're right. You're right, because you'll never become a millionaire with that type of attitude. If you limit yourself mentally, then your inner reality is going to match your outer reality. But if you think this way, I don't blame you. And that's because I used to think this way too. That's because society doesn't set us up for success financially. No one illustrates the importance of managing your money properly. No one tells you how to invest in the stock market effectively. And most of all, no one tells you that one day you can be financially free. I was so tired of this that I decided to at least try to be one person out there who's trying to set you up for success financially. Now, of course, I'm far from perfect and I still have a lot to learn myself, but it is my hope that with what I'm about to share you today, it can change the trajectory of your life, because I know that it's definitely changed mine. And what I'd like to show you is that it is quite possible for you to reach a $1 million net worth starting with just $261 in your hand right now. And in order to show you how this is possible, I'd like to break it down into 4 parts. Part 1. Your mission. Of course, in order to reach that $1 million mark, you're going to have to play a lead role in this adventure. That's not to say you'll be the only force helping you along this path. There will be another piece to this puzzle that will do some of the heavy lifting, but you'll need to be the one who gets the ball rolling. Your mission is simple, but of course, not necessarily easy. So the very first step is to take $261 and invest it into the stock market. And doing this will put you on the path to becoming a millionaire. But as I said, this is simple, but not necessarily easy. And that's because you'll also have to do this for the remaining 11 months of this full year. So essentially the task is to invest $261 into the stock market every single month for 1 full year. But there's an added twist. In the financial world, there's a special force called inflation that can act upon the prices of goods and services. Inflation is the rising of prices, and this may be something that you've noticed lately. It seems like food at the grocery store has risen in price, to name one example. So in effect, inflation actually reduces the value of our money because it takes more of our money to be able to buy that same carton of eggs that we're used to buying for a lower price. Therefore, the twist is that you will have to increase the amount of money that you contribute to your investments by the rate of inflation every year. The average rate of inflation in the United States has been about 3% per year, so that's the metric I would challenge you to keep up with. That means in the second year of your path to becoming a millionaire, you'll have to not invest $261 into the stock market per month, but $268 per month. And then every year after that, you'll also have to continue increasing this by 3%. But there's still a few holes in our mission at this point. You might be wondering, how do I invest in the stock market? What specifically should I be investing in? And what is the other force besides myself helping me along the way? Part 2. The power of compound interest. The other force helping you along the way is none other than the power of compound interest. You can kind of think of compound interest like an elastic band. When we begin investing and saving our money, this elastic band slowly gets pulled further and further back. Starting off with just $261 per month, we're not really going to see proof of the power of compound interest quite yet. And that's because we're still charging up that power. It hasn't been fully unleashed yet. But the more money we save and invest, and the longer period of time we do it for, eventually this elastic band will reach a point where it'll snap forwards, almost in slow motion, to catapult our investments further and further towards that $1 million mark. In fact, here's a really interesting part about this journey to $1 million. And that's that this power of compound interest is actually going to do a huge portion of the work for us. And in fact, it'll do about 76% of the work for us. And that's because about $767,000 is going to be directly because of the return on our investment, which means that we only have to invest about $236,000 into the stock market to reach that $1 million mark. So in other words, we don't actually have to save or invest anywhere near $1 million. So it's up to you to start that heavy lifting, but once you do, and once you get that ball actually rolling, it will roll like you wouldn't believe. Part 3, investing made easy. So what type of investment can actually accomplish this? Are we going to be investing in what these scam artists keep commenting on my videos? Maybe a hot stock like Tesla perhaps? Or how about those dividend stocks that everyone seems to be talking about? No, no, and no. Instead, we're going to be investing in what is statistically proven to be the most reliable way to invest for the long term. The index fund. An index fund is a type of investment that invests your money across a huge portion of the overall stock market, which means you don't have to worry about picking your own stocks. And the best part is, investing in index funds earns more money than over 90% of the people who do try and pick their own stocks anyway, even if they're dividend paying stocks. That's why some of the greatest investors in the world, like Warren Buffett or Peter Lynch, recommend that people invest their money in index funds, which is exactly what I do. We're not trying to get rich quick here or take massive risks with very low probabilities of success. This video is about giving yourself a high probability of success of reaching that $1 million mark. Index funds examples include things like VTSAX or VTI for American investors, or VGRO for Canadian investors. If you'd like to learn more about them, I've covered them quite a bit on the channel and will continue to do so. So make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other videos on the topic. For the purposes of the calculation for this video, I'm using expected return of 7% in the stock market. And that's based off of the kind of the middle ground between what the stock market has produced over the past century per year versus what investment firms like PWL Capital expect future stock returns to be. Now, it's very important to note, no one can actually predict the future. So while this model uses 7%, reality may turn out to be higher or lower than that. There's no way to know, and this is an assumption. So it's important to be aware of this. Part 4, the whole picture. Now let's put this all together. So if you start today with $261 in your hand and you invest it into the stock market for a full year, and then every year after that, you increase your contributions by 3% per year, you can be a millionaire in 40 years. Personally, this was a major life-changing realization for me for a few reasons. The first reason is that I just didn't even think it was possible at all for a normal person to reach that level of wealth. I thought it was only reserved for the elite levels of society. The second reason is that it made me realize how important it is to get started taking control of my personal finances as fast as possible. The sooner I got started, the sooner that goal could be reached. Now, some of you may hear 40 years and be disappointed, But again, I'd like to stress that this video is about what can be achieved with a high degree of probability. This video is not about becoming a millionaire in 10 years with a 1% chance of success. I'm not here to share that story today. I don't want 1% of you to reach the goal. I want most of you to be able to reach the goal. Let's get one thing crystal clear. Amassing $1 million is a tremendous achievement, so it's appropriate that it takes a very long time and dedication. Fortunately though, the path to achieve this is both simple and straightforward. But once again, it's not easy. And so today, I hope that I was able to open your mind to new possibilities for your life financially. So grab that $261 and get started.